Hi guys! Today I'm going to show you how to sew this cute gothic sort of blouse top with the cute little heart buttons. So if you want to know how I did this, stick around for my tutorial. What you need to make this blouse is a main fabric. This is black, non-stretchy, sort of Manchester fabric, if you can see that. And I'm using this for the entire blouse. I'm also going to use this. This is lace, which has a little bit of stretch on it, but not that much. I'm also going to use this elastic ribbon. See, stretchy. And I'm going to be using this cute little heart-shaped buttons. And in order to find the correct shape, I'm going to be using this, which is just an old top that I have that's made out of a non-stretchy fabric, so I'm using that as a base. But as always, you can obviously take your measurements and build it starting like that. So the first thing I'm going to do is lay out the fabric and double fold it and lay this blouse on top of it. Okay, so my fabric has been laid out and the top is laid on top of it. And from this, I'm going to cut 2 front pieces, 1 back piece, and 2 sleeve pieces. And I'm going to use the basic shape of this. So I'm going to put some pitting needles all the way around, like 2 centimeters outside of the edge of this one. And I'm going to take these arms in right here and pin like this, because we're going to cut the sleeves separately. And I don't want the cleavage to go very deep. I want it to go a bit higher, sort of more like a Victorian blouse. So I'm not going to use this shape, but create one of my own instead. Okay, so this is the basic shape of both the front and the back piece. The front pieces are going to be cut into 2 pieces because we're going to put buttons in there. But this is basically what the back piece is going to look like. So I'm going to cut this into 2 pieces, and then for the front piece, we're going to create a little bit of, I don't know if you call it cleavage, but yeah, just neckline like this. And then we're going to cut the sleeve pieces. So I now have my main 3 pieces. I cut the front piece in half, and I made the neckline like this. So now we're going to cut out the arm pieces. So this is what my sleeve pieces look like right now. They look really weird, but it's all gonna make sense in a while. So I've had the fabric folded and cut a thicker piece that grows a bit thinner after a while. And this is way too big to go around my arm, but that's because we are going to make it a little bit puffy. So I hadn't measured or anything like that. Obviously you can do that if you want to be like really thorough, but this is I've just gone by heart, and I'm gonna adapt this to the folds that I need to make when it's time to sew this on. So just cut these 2 pieces and leave them for now. The next step now is to sew the back and front pieces together into a sort of ugly looking vest. Okay, so I laid out the back and front pieces with their outsides towards each other, so the insides are out right now. And I pinned them, as you can see, at the top and on the sides. And we're going to sew the sides together up until where the sleeve is going to go. And then sew these 2 shoulder parts together. The 3 pieces are now sewn together, and it's time to do a hemming of the bottom here. So just fold it in as much as you would like it and sew it all the way. So the bottom is now hemmed, and it's time to do the same thing to the neckline. Up next, it's time for the sleeves. The thin open piece or open end of the sleeves is what's going to go down here where your armpits is going to be. And the top piece is going to be the one that we're going to make puffy, which is going to be the shoulder piece right here. So I'm going to show you how to pin and sew this. But before we can pin these sleeve pieces to the main piece, we're going to need to shut this ending right here. So just fold these with the insides out and sew this shut for both sleeves. So this is how the sleeve pieces are going to be pinned to the main piece. And like I said, there's too much right now, so this is gonna be the bottom, which is gonna go right here. And then we're going to scrunch it up along the line as we pin it so that it matches the top right here. And then we're going to scrunch the outer ending. Okay, so what I've done here is pull the sleeve over the main piece. The main piece is turned the right way, the sleeve is turned the wrong way. So the outsides are facing each other right here. So we're pinning the sleeve starting from the tiny fold right here to the outside of the sleeve piece of the main part, and we're going to sew along this line. Now I've left the piece that we're going to puff right here, so you can see that. So this is going to be non-puffy. This is going to be in your armpit, so this is going to be the non-puffy. Now it's time to fold this to make the puffs. So this is what you do. This is the excess that we have. So make a couple of folds until the fabric pieces match. So we got 2 folds on this side and we're gonna get 2 on the other. So there we go. One sleeve is completely pinned now. So I'm gonna pin the other one and then sew along the outer edge all around like this. So when you fold the sleeves the correct way after sewing them, they look like sort of freaky wings. So we need to take this in to make the puff sleeves. So we're going to do this using the elastic that I showed you, but first we are going to hem the sleeves. So just fold them in and sew all the way around on both sides. Okay, it's time to turn these crazy wings into proper sleeves, and I'm going to use this elastic ribbon for that. Now I'm going to sew this on like you would sew on just regular elastic, but I'm going to sew it on to the outside because, well, you know, it's quite pretty and I don't care if it shows. It might be cute. And at the top we can tie this into bows. So what I'm gonna do is sew this on. So leave, like, start at the top, leave a couple of centimeters so that I can tie the bow, and then sew while stretching this out, as you've probably seen me do before. That's going to scrunch the entire sleeve up. And since the elastic is pretty thick, I'm going to sew twice. So once on this side and once on this side. So I just tied a little bow at the top right here. Now that the sleeves are done, it's time to sew on this lace. And I want this to go like a bit below the boobs. So try it on and measure where you like it. So I want it sort of over there. This already has a little seam, as you can see, so I'm going to try to follow that one when I sew this on. Okay, so I haven't cut the ribbon off because it's a little bit stretchy, like I told you in the beginning. So I'm gonna try to stretch just a little bit while I sew. So I don't know right now how much I'm gonna need of it. So I'm just gonna cut it off once I'm done sewing. So I'm gonna sew all the way around along this already sewn line. Okay, we're almost done now. The last thing we need to do before we sew the buttons on is hem the opening right here. So we're going to fold in these and everything and then sew that and then put the buttons on here. Now I'm done with everything but the buttons and the buttonholes. So what we need to decide now is how many buttons we're going to use. So I'm just going to lay them out and get a feel for what I think works. Okay, so 6 seems good. So I'm going to start by sewing in the buttonholes, and I'm using the machine for that. So my buttonholes are sewn on and open up. So it's time to sew the buttons on, and I'm going to do this by hand using a red thread. And there we go. My top is now done. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.